Welcome back to another Pickled Unscripted. As always, I have with me Matt, the wonderful Pickled Dragon, and I'm Dracoya with Scale 75 and Avant Art. And what are you drinking today, Matt?
Oh, the classic bullet, Frontier whiskey.
Nice. And
Yes.
today I have another beer with me. It's called Ichigo Stout. I went to my local Asian mart and picked it up. It was kind of unlimited, a limited run where I am, and it's really good. It almost tastes like notes of Kira and Ichiban if anyone's had that lovely malt flavor, but it's darker, like a stout. It's quite nice. So speaking of alcohol, you guys might want to sit down and grab a drink for this one. Today, Matt and I are going to be talking about all the changes going on at WotC. WotC. Come on, guys, get your stuff together. Jesus. So by now, everyone's probably heard about the layoffs that happened at Hasbro and WotC recently. They had 800 people let go earlier this year, and now they've just let go of another 1,100 people, which is about 20% of their total workforce.
Yeah, and we have heard or seen WotC being maligned as this heartless corporation for letting people go right before Christmas. And that is, I gotta tell you, like they could have waited a few weeks. That is
Yeah,
bad, but there are some
not a great look.
young YouTubers out there that I've seen. They're just gnashing their teeth and slamming their fists and stomping their feet. And they're saying all these crazy things. They're saying, "Oh, all these people were let go," and I'm sure that they've given no severance or support whatsoever, and all the hurt feelings, blah blah blah. But I all you had to do is read the announcement from Chris Cox, and you could see that they were all given packages, and they're all also, I believe, they mentioned getting placement counseling, which is like a lot more than a lot of corporations would do.
Yeah, I've never had
Um,
a company do
but
that.
I mean, it just seems like the WotC hate is just flowing just as hotly as during the OGL scandal and Pinkertons rushing at people's doors, all that stuff. And I mean, the timing is brutal. Obviously, it's
Well,
brutal.
but if they're giving packages for Christmas, I mean, that's not that bad. That's a pretty good deal, actually. You get to spend the holidays with your family instead of wondering whether or not you're going to get laid off. You get a nice little severance package that probably gives you a month, 2 months worth of pay. You also get some help finding another position. Like, if you're going to get let go from your company, this is best case scenario, guys.
Yeah, for reals, for reals.
So then looking from the outside in, it seems like WotC's kind of fallen into a bunch of chaos. So how did we get here? And is there a method to this madness? So when layoffs typically take place, anyone who's ever been laid off before will know all about this. Corporations tend to know like 4 to 6 months of advance. In fact, if any of you work for a big company right now, you can look up something called the WARN Act, which is a government act that says that if a company is laying off, a substantial amount of their employees, they have to put this notice up to the government and say, hey, this is why we're letting go of 100, 200% of our 100 to 200 people of in our company. So if you're working for any kind of corporation, go ahead and look this up. It will save you a lot, and you're going to know about the layoffs that happened before any of your colleagues do. But that's side note. Then we've also argued that the sensitivity and inclusion practices that WotC's been doing, as well as a lot of the other controversies, have really alienated players and pushed them to other systems.
Yeah,
Plus, then you've got the announcement of the new edition, and yeah, that had to hurt.
yeah, that hurts sales. The all of these things contribute to a general downturn in sales for the D&D side of the house
Yeah.
of WotC. Now, I've heard a lot of YouTubers say, WotC's made plenty of money and they shouldn't have laid off all these people. But, if you check out the Dungeon Craft video that we'll post down below, you'll see that the sales that they had were on the Magic the Gathering side of the business.
Right.
And that was largely on the weight of the Lord of the Rings set, plus the Baldur's Gate 3 release. But aside from that, like the movie didn't do as well as they had hoped. It was a good movie. It was
It
great.
was it
I
was
liked
good.
it.
It was good. I had a good time.
Yeah, but I think you can see that the alienation of players is really the stake because while WotC is pretty much flat in terms of sales, and some people argue that they're underwater. Some people argue maybe 3% growth, but I hear more people and I see more numbers indicating that WotC is the D&D side of the house is actually losing money. Um,
Hmm.
and the now a lot of people might say, well, that just shows that gaming in general is a volatile industry, but what we've said that these new policies, like the sensitivity and inclusion and all the other things that have alienated players, Pinkertons and OGLs and all that good stuff, have driven people out. And you can see that third-party sales have gone nuts. Like Shadow Dark made over $1 million on their Kickstarter. I think Matt Coville's is over $3 million. So there are other systems, Pathfinder selling out, and other systems are absolutely going nuts. So,
Well, yeah, they're not doing what WotC's doing to their
right,
players. I mean, I
playing
would
games.
also disagree with some of these YouTubers. I mean, depending on the direction that WotC wants to go, it makes sense for them to cut, from a business standpoint, it makes sense to cut parts of your business that are no longer benefiting the direction in which the company is headed.
Yeah, we can't
Just
forget.
subtract.
Yeah, you know, if you look at the list of people who were let go, I think it's very telling, and we can project what one of two things, or maybe both, are happening with Wizards of the Coast right now.
Yeah.
Because yeah, if you look at the list of folks who were axed, game developers, art directors, project managers, even Mike Mearls, who was the one of the spearhead designers for 5e. And say what you will about Mike Mearls, he's been attacked from both sides of the ideological spectrum when you look at what's been going on, for various reasons, and he's made some missteps, but he is a talented game designer. I mean, there is no doubt that he's going to be, and a lot of these other folks, especially with these third party games exploding, they're going to get picked up.
Yeah.
So they it's it's kind of easy to see that they are essentially getting rid of folks that support physical books. I think, well, you know,
Right. So this could be a sign that we're starting to move away from physical products as far as D&D goes, and maybe other tabletop games as well. But speaking about WotC specifically, it looks like they're taking away a lot of the staff that is supporting any kind of physical product. So, I mean, I guess time's going to tell whether or not WotC is going to move to a virtual tabletop. I know, Matt, you had mentioned that there were some other people who were talking about their new virtual system. And apparently you said that the people who've tried it said that it was really impressive.
yeah, it's pretty slick. I mean, from my perspective, I worry about flexibility. I mean, if you are a DM who loves to improvise quite a bit, or if you have a group of players who go off script and go down the left tunnel when you really needed them to either go straight or right or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I worry that the system's not going to be for those folks,
Yeah,
but
I
there's
agree. I'm definitely an improv DM for myself, for sure.
yeah, there's going to be a definite market. There are going to be people who fall in love with the skins that they can dress their characters up with. They're going to love how the little spell effects and the graphics of dungeons and whatnot. It's there's going to be a market for it, just like there's a market for people who love theater of the mind and people who love miniatures and painting miniatures like Dracoya here.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a group for everybody out there, guys. Don't give up.
Yeah,
So,
the bottom line is WotC is now run by a bunch of ex Microsoft honchos. They're video game people. So
well, yeah, and that's completely different world than what we're talking about when we talk about D&D and tabletop.
yeah, and they're going to take. It's pretty clear what direction that they're taking the game into. They're
Right.
they're they're paring down the staff levels, and I think that they're hoping that they're just going to be able to release this VTT and then go into maintenance mode, where they just kind of take care of it and they patch things and they release little updates and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a
Or extra content that
developer's.
you have to buy.
Yeah. And let's not forget, they announced that the next version of D&D is going to be the last version of D&D. So they don't
Yes.
need those game developers anymore.
Yeah.
It's the code is set. Now they're just going to go on cruise control and let the VTT rake in money. But
Hmm.
there is another side to this, and I think anybody that's worked in a corporation that's been bought by another corporation
Yeah.
can can attest that right when you see inexplicable layoffs in a company that is generally making money. In the last 2 years, WotC has grown 20% financially, on the weight of Magic the Gathering. So 20% year over year, 2 years in a row. And but we're seeing 20% of the employee base axed, and with probably more to come, as they're all indications are that there's going to be another round of layoffs. Um, so it could be that they're prepping to sell D&D or WotC as a whole.
That would make a lot
Um,
of sense. I mean, D&D pretty much brought them nothing but grief since they've taken it over, mainly because they've not handled it correctly. So I would
well,
love it
yeah,
to be
this
sold.
group of honchos, the previous groups of honchos who ran it well, you
Yeah.
know, that's another thing. But when a corporation starts to lower its overhead, in other words, eliminate payroll, we've seen them eliminating stock. They've been sending out like the Dragonlance board game and some other things out to retailers who sell things at giant discounts. So in other words, they're getting rid of overhead. They're just eliminating stock, they're eliminating people. Usually when you see that happening, they're trying to make the company more attractive to buy, because you're saying, hey, look, we got this thing that's going to be making a whole bunch of money, and it's not going to cost a lot of money to maintain because there's fewer people and less stock. And, and they've, Hasbro already sold One Entertainment, or Entertainment One, whatever it was called,
Hmm.
the movie end of the business, for 500 million bucks when they bought it for 4 billion. What
Are
a
you kidding me?
Yeah, they
That's
lost three
so
and a half billion
dumb.
dollars. They only just bought it in
Oh,
2019. I mean, this is like,
wow.
I mean, if you look at it, like, the people that should have been laid off are the honchos, because these people making decisions in just 4 years, they lost $3.5 billion on that deal.
Yeah,
Um,
clearly these people don't know what they're doing. They're not looking out for what the people want. I don't
yeah,
think. What do you guys think? Do you think they're looking out for what the people want? And based on the information we've given you guys today, do you guys think they're going to get sold? Do you think that they're just moving virtually? What are your feelings about the virtual system? Do you guys like the idea of doing everything online?
I don't. I like to have people around my table that I can poke fun at and roll dice and kill them.
Me too. I completely agree. I like being able to paint miniatures and, spend 40 hours on a dragon only to have it come out and like kill my entire party. It's fun for me.
Good times. Good
Yeah,
time.
good times, good times. And apparently there's hints that WotC's not even done with layoffs. There might be more to come next year. So we'll have
Yeah,
to
it's
see.
sad, but I mean,
Yeah.
from a business perspective, depending on what they're trying to do, if they're going full digital or if they're trying to sell the company, it actually makes sense from a business standpoint. It sucks from a people standpoint, but
Oh yeah, totally sucks. I mean, my company just laid off most of their people too. I'm in the crowd of layoffs for people who got laid off during Christmas. So I feel for those people. I do. I am one of you. It does suck.
yes, but we shall endeavor to persevere, as they say.
Always.
Yes,
Can't
but
stop us.
until then, please like, comment, subscribe, and come on back and have another round on us.
Clink.
Click.